So today we're gonna get into this whole idea of sexual shadow, and just want to take a couple minutes and kind of set the stage for it. So in, in the way that I was taught about about shadow was that shadow, just in general, forgetting sexual shadow for a moment, shadow in general comes from the parts of ourselves that we have repressed, denied, and or avoided. And so there's there's value in getting in touch with these. Like, what are the parts of myself that I have repressed, denied, and avoided? There's a whole realm of why do I repress, deny, and avoid these things, right? Some of that's in the therapeutic realm, which is hugely valuable. But for today, we're going to really oversimplify that portion. Like, why do I have this part of myself that I've repressed, denied, and avoided? And why is when you were young, possibly when you were pre-verbal, but some shadow shows up much later in life, right? Somewhere you got the message that these parts of you were not okay. In fact, they made you unlovable, which for a young child is the equivalent of death. So in adolescence, so these could show up like uh, the part of you that is selfish, right? That's an easy one. Like the part of you that's kind of like, gimme, 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 mine, mine, mine. For most children, that is like cut out right away. Now, when we do that, we go, oh, like it's not okay for me to express that or for me to think that or be that. So I'm going to just pack that one away and no one will ever see it. And then I'll get love. Make sense? Okay. When we do that, when we cut off, let's just use selfishness as an example. We'll get into the sexual bits in a minute. We cut off like I'm selfish, gimme, gimme, gimme. We also, in hiding the shadow away, we throw the baby out with the bathwater. So we're like, I don't want that horrible bathwater. And there's, selfishness in general is not exactly a celebrated thing. And yet there's a gift in what are like I have needs and I have things I have to get met. Like selfishness is not a bad thing in itself. It has two sides. There's a gift in it. It can serve you. Like I have needs, they're important that I get met, right? Like I have there's things that are important to me personally rather than like, oh, I'm not selfish, so everyone else's needs are more important than mine. So we cut away both with the shadow. We go, let's just tuck this whole thing away. No one's going to see it. So the shadow goes away, the bathwater goes, and then the gift in it, the baby, is also gone, which is I'm no longer able to express myself well. I always let everyone else's needs go above mine. I'm sure you've maybe seen that in yourself or others. So that's kind of where shadow comes from. And in this is really cursory. I just want to like there's a whole body of research around this and a body of work and Jungian psychology, and Ken Wilber's done some great work on it, but I'm giving it short shrift because I want to get into the what do we do about it and how do we kind of bring it back into the light, and then way more importantly, how do we do that in the sexual realm? So that's kind of a, you know, decades of research and anthologies of academic papers in a 2-minute short shrift description of shadow. So, um, so that said, though, when we grow up, right, or we wake up spiritually, the work that a lot of people do not do is to reclaim the parts of themselves or address the parts of themselves they've repressed, denied, and avoided, hence shadow work. And then comes sex. So shadows, I wouldn't say easy, but it's fairly 101 personal growth, at least in my experience. Sexual shadows, like, oh, like what are the parts of my sexual expression that I've repressed, denied, and avoided? Right? What parts of me what parts of me were I told, or what messages that I get from parents or peers or teachers or whoever that part of my sexual expression is wrong. Well, let's pack that away, right? Same way we do with regular shadow. We pack it away and we lose the part of it that could be, when unconsciously shared, it could be unwelcome. And yet we also lose the gift in it, which is, oh, this could be a really beautiful thing to bring to my sex or just to bring to my life so that I have more range in my expression. Right. So that, and it's not necessarily just so I can please my partner. No, it's so that I feel expressed sexually. And often these are the tender pieces because they were wired through the sexual body. They're very tender, but they're difficult to work with and unwind, which is why we wanted to have this masterclass to help you bring them into the light and not just think about them and talk about them, but find out where they live in your body, find out how they want to express themselves as gift, find out how they're already expressing themselves unconsciously. Because the truth about any shadow, whether it's, non-sexual or sexual, is a secret. Everybody else can feel you repressing, denying, and avoiding it except you. Like, and so it's an
Especially
important,
your partner.
yeah, especially a partner.
Your
Like,
partner knows
yeah,
your sexual shadow very well.